Hope you had a fantastic Christmas, a happy holidays, and the Texans looking to put coal in the late presents and stockings. You don't put coal in the presents. The coal in the stockings of the Chargers in a late Christmas matchup. That didn't work the way I wanted it to. But we're talking Texans. We're talking Chargers. We got to get you ready for that matchup tomorrow. Saturday football coming your way. The Texans win and get into the playoffs. The Chargers still have a lot to play for. If they win their next two, they're winners of the AFC West. It is the toughest matchup that the Texans have had in their winning streak, and they've certainly got to showcase more than what they showcased against the Las Vegas Raiders last week. We'll talk about that, do the checkmark game. Welcome to the channel. I'm Cody Stoots. Let's talk some Texans. The caffeine du jour, a little Dr. Pepper, zero sugar. Used to not like Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar, and somehow, some way, it's turned for me. Oh, man, it just hits just right. I used to be a Dr. Pepper fiend, man. I used to be a fiend for it. Okay, so the zero sugar hits just right. Let's talk about this Chargers team. This is a very good football team. This is a very good football team the Texans are playing. It is an offense that has been able to cobble together whatever they need on a weekly basis. Is it Herbert putting the team on his back? They've done that. Is it running the football? They've done that. They've done that really well since their bye week. Is it Ladd McConkey having a big day? Is it Quentin Johnston having a big day? Is it Keenan Allen? Is it Gatson? They're tied in. They found different ways to win games offensively. And then over on defense, they've got a very good defense. It is not as good as the Houston Texans defense, but man, it is darn good. And you think about where the Texans are right now and the type of opponents that they've struggled against the past couple of weeks, and you think, okay, this is not a great matchup for the Texans. And I say struggle. The offense didn't struggle 2 weeks ago. They looked fantastic against the Arizona Cardinals. That's a toothless Arizona Cardinals team. And then the following week, a toothless Las Vegas Raiders team came into town, and the Texans couldn't move the ball like they wanted to or like they needed to. They finally got a touchdown on the board late to kind of put that thing out of distance, and then had to get the offensive drive to end the game, but still settled for a lot of field goals, couldn't move the ball effectively against the Raiders. And then this world-class defense that the Texans have, this excellent number one, top in the league in points allowed and yards allowed and all that kind of jazz, back-to-back weeks, subpar offenses move the football against them. Now, the Cardinals one's a bit easier to understand. The offense gave them a big lead, and you can kind of take your foot off the gas if you're the defense. But the Raiders moving the football against the Texans, including two huge Ashton Jeanty-led drives, one with a catch out of the backfield and one with a huge run, that was concerning. That was a offense, the Raiders, that were coming into that matchup not very impressive, not very good. The Texans defense allowed them to hang around and hang around and hang around. And that's not a good offensive line. That's not a good quarterback. That's not a good group of skill positions players. And the running back's pretty good, but you should have been able to key on him and stop him. Now, the Texans will get Azeez Al-Shaair back. He missed that game against the Raiders, but I got a little bit of worry, a little bit of concern there with that matchup that the Texans have coming up on the running game and the rushing attack that the Chargers have, even with Azeez Al-Shaair back. And I'm a little worried that subpar offenses for back-to-back weeks finally were able to get to the defense and move the ball consistently. Because if Jacoby Brissett and Geno Smith and Michael Wilson and Trey Turner or is it Trey Tucker, whatever the wide receiver is, if McBride and Bowers and Jeanty, if those guys can move the ball, then certainly McConkey and Allen and Johnston and Herbert are going to move the football on you. And you're going to have to stop them if you're the Texans defense. You're going to have to turn back the clock to who they were earlier in the year and just really put it on the Chargers. Now, I feel pretty confident about the defense's chances to bounce back. I feel pretty good about what the defense is bringing into this matchup because in the playoff game, and I know D'Amico Ryans would tell you, and I'm going to tell you, two different teams, two different incarnations of these teams. But in the playoff game last year against Herbert, his life was hell in that matchup. The Texans were all over him, forcing him into uncomfortable situations, and ultimately he threw a ton of interceptions in that matchup. And I think back to the way the Texans have performed against better quarterbacks this year. Matt Stafford did not have some big, awesome, amazing game against this team. Now, that's the first game of the year, and you kind of can throw that one out the window a little bit, but Josh Allen's game against this team was not amazing. Bo Nix did not have a very good game against this team. Even Baker Mayfield didn't have some – remember how good he was to start the season? He didn't have some big offensive explosion like he had against this Texans. When the quarterback's been really good, the Texans have had answers for that guy more often than not. Justin Herbert's really good. And DeMeco Ryans had all the answers for him last year, and hopefully he's got a lot of answers for him tomorrow when they match up on this one. When the Texans defense, that is the top defense in the league, the much ballyhooed and vaunted Texans defense, it's got to go out there and win like the Texans usually win. Go out there, have the defense carry this offense, take care of business, and give the offense a chance. You don't need a lot out of the offense for the Texans if the defense does their job to the level that we all have seen them do their job. Now I flip it over to the offense for the Texans. You need more. You need so much more than what you had last week. You need more consistency out of the passing game. You need C.J. Stroud to be calm and settled in this matchup. You need to be able to run the football. Woody Marks' return will help on that, but you need a lot more offensively than what you gave last week if you're the Houston Texans. You've got to be better offensively than you were last week if you have designs on beating the Chargers. And remember, the Chargers, they got everything in front of them. They got 2 wins and they win the AFC West. Well, the Houston Texans still have a very tiny sliver of hope for the AFC South. If the Jaguars slip, trip, fall, lose one of their final 2 games and the Texans win out, they're going to be AFC South champions yet again, 3rd year in a row. Okay? So it's still in there for the Texans. They've got to go out there and win, and to win, they've got to get more out of this offense. The rushing attack last week was pathetic, and the offensive line that was out there last week is not going to be out there this week. Trent Brown not playing in this one. So the offensive line shuffle is potentially on, and it could get even more shuffled if Ariante Ursary can't play in this one, though he did practice yesterday for the Houston Texans, which gives you a glimmer of hope that he would play in this one. But ultimately, the toughest team that the Texans have had in this win streak, a tough team here down the stretch. And honestly, I kind of feel like a team that is as tough and maybe even tougher than some of the opponents they could face in the first round of the NFL playoffs. So, DeMeco Ryans, it's up to you to kind of refocus, redial in everybody on a short week with a holiday in the middle and some shuffling to happen on the offense, and go out there and take care of Justin Herbert and take care of this Los Angeles Chargers team like you did last year in the playoffs. And if the Texans do that, well, I feel like we're all going to be pretty excited about that playoff run. You lose to the Chargers, you can still clinch the playoffs. You still go to the playoffs more than likely. But I think the excitement level for what you can do in the playoffs goes down a little bit. So be intriguing to see how the Texans finish out on this last 2-game stretch, and certainly with this Chargers matchup that is a tough one. Appreciate your comments, your questions, your joys, and concerns. We'll get to some of those. We'll start the checkmark game as well right after I tell you about my friends at Sleeper. Sleeper is the best way to play a daily fantasy. You use my code STOOTS, STOOTS, and you're going to get a free $20 no deposit required entry, as well as a deposit match up to $100. We use my code STOOTS, STOOTS. Terms and conditions do apply. Check out Sleeper's terms and conditions. But we're putting entries together each and every week. Let's put our entry together for this week. And you look at this, and right off the bat, I love both of these kickers to go with more than 1.5 field goals made. It's just 2 really good defenses and 2 offenses that have had some hiccups. So I love that situation for this sleeper entry. Let's go to receptions. Nico Collins, he dominated the Chargers in the playoffs last year. I got to imagine Nico's going to get going. And if the offense is going to consistently move the ball and keep kind of the calm that you need, then you're going to need some Dalton Schultz receptions. That's the entry right there. Fairbairn, Schultz, Collins, and Dicker the kicker, one of the most accurate kickers in the history of football. And if all those go more, we're going to be winners here with the sleeper entries. Appreciate everybody for following along with the sleeper picks this year. We're going to keep making them, and hopefully we're going to put some wins under our belt as well. Let's get to your comments, your questions, your joys, your concerns. JB Allen, the Annihilator, is in here. Good to see you, JB. Zach's in here. Sophia is in here. JB, the Lions are supposed to be Super Bowl contenders, a high-powered offense, yet lost to a QB through 52 yards. Well, that was awful by the Lions, huh? That was awful. Goes to show you offensive coordinators are difficult to come by, and replacing Caley might be not easier said than done. I think there's still a lot of people that want to replace him, though. We'll still want to replace him. May not be easy tomorrow, but it could be Ursery. What a teammate, dog, leader. Yeah. Sophia's reviewing video and catching theft cases, waiting for Cody to play in the background. Sophia, what do? You catching thieves? Yeah, you work for the feds? What's going on here? Mustard Paper, good to see you. T1 Ozarka, good to see you. Andres, good to see you. Friday meetup today? No Friday meetup today. We'll be back at Spanky's a week from today, though. January 2nd, a week from today. Happy holidays from northern Utah. Hope y'all's Christmas wasn't too warm. It was uncomfortably warm, I would say, for what you wanted at Christmas weather. But I appreciate you, Trey. Good to see my friend HDAV Traveler. Brand's in here. BG's in here. Chris says, Merry Christmas from SoCal. How about Ursery's toughness as a limited participant practice right after surgery? Oh, we'll talk about Ursery and what he brings to the table. Texans pass rush going to beat the stuffing out of Justin Herbert. Wouldn't be nice. Would that be nice? Wouldn't that be nice? I'd love a deep playoff run with us beating the Broncos while I'm stuck up here in Utah until February. All the Denver fans here. Yeah, I guess that makes sense that Utah fans are Denver fans. I don't love that Broncos team. I really don't. They really gimmick some things together. I do not love that Broncos team. Is Agent Zero playing? Yes. Aziz Al-Shire is back. He'll be playing. Good to see Frank in here. Good to see Mustang in here. I just hope it's a dominant win, not the usually ugly win. I'll take an ugly win against this team. This Chargers team is real good. I'll take an ugly win against them if I'm the Texans. Be happy to see that. Mike, good to see you. James, tomorrow's a big day for football in Houston. Texans win it. And you're in at 3. The Houston Cougars and the Texas Bowl at NRG at 8. Yeah, that'd be a fun one. Cougs trying to get another bowl game victory. Get one under. Willie, you want to win? Give Willie the men. That didn't work like I wanted it to. Scott says, Happy Friday, Cody. Let's handle business tomorrow. Omar asks, will Leki Fotu play? Now, this is a player that they claimed off of, not claimed, they signed to the practice squad this week. Leki Fotu played defensive line for the Cardinals previously. I believe he overlapped with Matt Burke in Arizona. I would think that he probably is at least in consideration for the promotion from the practice squad. I don't think Marlon Davidson gave them what they wanted last week. Good to see Dime. Good to see E-Man. Bubba notes, Happy Boxing Day. Happy Boxing Day, Bubba. I know Boxing Day is after Christmas, but I have no idea what Boxing Day is. That's just where I am right now. Good to see Tavis. Yeah, there was some bad football yesterday, but it beats the heck out of no football, you know? Next year, Christmas on a Friday. So you're going to get Thursday night football Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday football. 5 straight days of football, plus bowl games mixed in there. Branson says, Happy holidays from Minnesota. Thank you, Branson. Mike says, Merry Christmas, Cody, in chat. Oh, man, I fell asleep, missed the beginning. Hit that rewind button. You'll catch up. All right, plenty to get to here in the show. Let's do a first half of the checkmark game after we review the Raiders and Texans checkmarks. That Texans defense and that Raiders offense Probably could have given Genty a check mark. Okay. Probably could have given Genty a check mark. Azeez Al-Shire ended up not playing. So that check mark went away, and we're not handing that check mark back to the linebackers anytime soon with their overall performance. Derek Stingley ended up playing, so would have been a 7th check mark there. And Bowers got held in check. So it was a pretty good job for the Texans on what was the defense versus the offense in the check mark. Now, offense versus defense, Max Crosby was really good. Nobody else was actually that great for the Raiders defense. Then over for the Texans, Schultz had a really bad game. Jalen Knoll didn't really get the returns going. And then I thought Stroud had a bad game. So no check mark heading into this one for him this week. But that's a review of last week's check marks. Let's get into the Texans defense versus the, let's see, am I got it right here? Yeah, here we go. Texans defense versus the Chargers offense. Let's go over on the defense. As always, DeMeco Ryans, if you are coordinating, organizing, setting up one of the best defenses in football, you're getting a check mark. So DeMeco Ryans gets us started with a check mark. Derek Stingley, healthy, going to play. He gets a check mark. Toad, a.k.a. Jalen Petrie, he's been rolling. Let's get him a check mark. You know who loves Jalen Petrie more than anybody that's not the Texans coaching staff? John Gruden. Gruden loves him some Petrie. But let's get a check mark there for Jalen Petrie. Kamari Lassiter's been playing his behind off. Let's get a big check mark there for Kamari Lassiter as well. Already 4 in the books here for the Texans. I just love the way Lassiter and Stingley have been playing this year. Lassiter's been awesome, super physical. Stingley, of course, is Mr. Lockdown, all-pro Sting again. Petrie's been super physical. He's not been a liability in coverage. You love what you've gotten out of Jalen Petrie this year as well. So very, very interested to see this potentially continue for Jalen Petrie and him be a big factor for this team. Kalen Bullock and Miles Bryant, your safeties. Miles Bryant has to be better than he was against the Raiders. Fell off of a couple of tackles, got attacked. I got to imagine that Greg Roman and Jim Harbaugh are going to find Miles Bryant when he's on the field, so he's got to be much better. Bullock had some up and down moments. He's had some really nice moments. He's been put in a different position with the use of the safeties, and they let Bryant kind of play center field instead of Bullock. If they could find a way to get Bullock playing center field again, I feel like that's the best way to use him. To'o's got to have a much better game than the most recent one that he had. Azeez Al-Shire coming back, that should help. Very close to throwing a check mark to just Azeez himself, but I'm not quite there. And Will Anderson and Daniil Hunter, 1 check mark each for them, not sharing a check mark. Early in this 7-game win streak, okay? Early in the 7-game win streak, in the first 3 games of the 7-game win streak, they combined for double-digit sacks. They have 3 sacks in the last 4 games combined. So that bonus check mark that we've been distributing, it's not quite there for them. Sheldon Rankins, Tommy Togiai, okay in the middle. It's the guys behind them to worry about. But the Houston Texans, with that secondary and the incredible pass rush plus DeMeco Ryans, we get 6 check marks there for the Houston Texans. So a couple on the ends, the secondary, as well as DeMeco Ryans gets us to 6. Let's see what the Chargers have brought to the table. Now, this is a beat-up offensive line. Becton had to fight through something this week. Austin Deculus is yet another starter at left tackle for them. He's played a lot of left tackle for them. He hadn't played left tackle for the past month. Salyer, the guy that they were going to play at left tackle, he's out for this one. So Deculus, maybe another guy in there. They've actually had Zion Johnson, which I now realize I spelled his name wrong. They had Zion Johnson for the whole season. Bozeman's fine. Pipkins has played actually a lot for them, but let's talk about the guys that actually bring it to the table here. Harbaugh and Roman are getting a check mark because they have been able to cobble it together with this offensive line, and they've had some really nice offensive performances. They're coming off a big offensive performance. I know it was against the Cowboys, so it doesn't matter as much. But Harbaugh and Roman have done a very good job coordinating this offense, putting Herbert in a position to succeed, and they'll do anything to win this damn thing, including tush push Justin Herbert while he's actively bleeding on the field. Okay. So let's take a look at their skill position players. Keenan Allen's still getting it done, still very good, still awesome at his advanced wide receiver age. He's come back and been a useful piece for them at wide receiver. Quentin Johnston is the guy that you got to pay a lot of attention to. He's catching the football. He's not dropping it at the rate that he dropped it the past couple of years. He's catching the football and doing a good job catching it. Last year, catchless against the Texans in the playoffs. He's got a lot of touchdowns. He's a deep threat. He will get behind you. And you've seen when Derek Stingley's been beat this year, when Kamari Lassiter's been beat this year, it's typically been vertically. So Johnston is a guy to watch out for. I'm not quite ready to throw him a check mark just yet, but he's a very solid player. Gadsden's a good tight end. They do a good job using him. They do a good job using him to draw attention away from other players. So Gadsden is a guy that you got to watch out for. McConkey's going to get a check mark from me. It feels like he's kind of rounding into form, hasn't been anywhere near as good as he was a year ago or productive as he was a year ago, but had the big play last week for the Chargers. He's a slot presence. The Texans have had some trouble with slot presences this year, and McConkey had that big play against the Texans, albeit with things very much out of hand, but had the big play last year. So I'm sneaking a check mark over there for McConkey. Omarion Hampton's good, not quite a check mark yet. Kamani Vidal, their backup running back, is questionable with a neck injury. I got to imagine he's going to give it a chance, give it a try to go in this one. He's a nice backup, but Hampton's the guy that can really make things move. They'll throw him the ball. He runs tough. He's a good player. I'm not quite throwing a check mark to either of those guys yet. Herbert's playing out of his mind right now. He's one of the best quarterbacks in football. He just gets it done. He's gutty. He's gritty. He plays through these huge hits. He's been hit more than any time in his career, and he keeps getting up. He's like a horror villain in a horror movie. Doesn't matter how hard you hit him. He keeps getting up, playing through a broken hand, and still playing well through that broken hand. So Herbert's getting a couple of check marks, and a very rare kicker check mark is headed our way. Dicker the kicker is accurate. He's got good length on his field goals. He is a guy that if it comes down to a field goal matchup, he can make it happen. So Dicker the kicker is getting a check mark here. So Herbert's 2, you throw in McConkey and the coaches, that's 4, and Dicker the kicker gets the Chargers to 5. So 6 for the Chargers. 6 for the Texans, on defense, 5 for the Chargers on offense, and that's the first half of the checkmark game. So let's see what we get to in the second half of the checkmark game, and we will get to that in just one moment, right after I tell you a little bit about my friends at the Y Factor. Hey, the Y Factor is men's urological health. They take care of everything that has to do with your urological health at the Y Factor. So what exactly is that? Well, that's making sure that your testosterone's at the levels that you want it to be, making sure that your cholesterol's at the levels that you want it to be. If you're trying to naturally conceive, making sure that your male part of the fertility, your male part of the equation, is making sure that that is operating at the highest level. Maybe you want to take the performance in the bedroom to the next level. Optimization of your performance, if you will. They do that at the Y Factor. Maybe you're tired of having kids. You just went through Christmas and you decided not doing this with any more kids. I want a vasectomy. I have a non-scalpel vasectomies at the Y Factor. Look, it's about to be the new year. You're going to want to take your health more seriously. I'm going to take my health more seriously in 2026. And I already have started with the Y Factor. Went and got my blood test done with them. Figured out, hey, the cholesterol's a little high. Maybe we're getting a little close to some pre-diabetes, and the testosterone's a little low. We're going to put together a treatment plan at the Y Factor to help that out. If you're over 30 and you're a male, take your health seriously in 2026. Go see my friends at the Y Factor. Tell them Cody Stoots sent you, and go about getting your health off on the right foot in 2026 with my friends at the Y Factor. So many different things that they can take care of and handle and help you through. They do a great job of explaining it all. They take insurance. What better way to get started on that insurance you pay for than to call up the Y Factor, give them your insurance, see what they'll cover, see what all the various things they'll help you out with on insurance is, and just visit them at the website to find out anything and everything you might need. TheYFactor.com, TheYFactor.com. And again, when you go or when you book, tell them Cody Stoots, tell them Cody Stoots sent you, and start taking your health seriously here in 2026. You can schedule it up for the first week of 2026, and then your health journey in 2026, you'll be headed in the right direction from the word go. With my friends at the Y Factor, get your health on track with the Y Factor. Your comments, your questions, your joys, and your concerns, as always, the Super Chats jump to the front of the line like Mike Roberts. Merry Christmas. All the Texans content between your channel and SNL is a nice daily gift. Appreciate it. Thank you, Mike. We appreciate you watching. I know Landry appreciates you watching the locker room and SNL as well. It's been a fantastic regular season. We got a little bit left in the regular season. Whatever this playoff run brings us in the offseason, the content does not stop. We'll be bringing it to you fast and furious throughout the offseason, like a Vin Diesel movie. So, Mike, I appreciate the Super Chat. Thank you so much. Thoughts on bringing in John Gruden as the next offensive coordinator? I got to imagine if Gruden's coming back, Gruden's probably going to be a head coach. I also don't believe that Gruden, with an active lawsuit that he's winning against the NFL, is probably likely to get into the NFL again. But again, I think if Gruden's coming back, what is on my shirt? If Gruden's coming back, it's to be a head coach somewhere. So while I like the idea, I just don't see it. And I do wonder if there's just a tiny bit more modernization you'd want. Not to say that Gruden's too old school or wouldn't be exciting. I just feel like there's just a little bit more modernization you could do with that situation. So, but it's a good thought. It's a good thought. It's a good thought. Texas vet says, good morning. Chargers fans are beginning to be annoying again. They are a pretty vocal group, despite not being the largest group. I remember last year when I said the Texans linebackers were better, and they let me hear about it for weeks. And then they were very quiet after the playoff game. Can we get a super early mock draft? Himothy Jim, stick around. Well, I'll put that in the maybe category. Stick around. Byron's worried about Amarion Hampton tomorrow. You should be. You should be. Ashton Jeanty has that big game. Amarion Hampton's going to be licking his chops. And he's fresher than Ashton Jeanty because, remember, he missed time with the injury. He's had time to kind of work back into shape. So, Texans Christmas present. Nick Caley coaches at least 2 quarters of decent football. That might be enough. If the defense shows up, that might be enough. Chargers backup safety is out as well. Yeah, the Chargers got some guys missing on defense. They got some guys missing on defense for sure. Big DQ, Merry Christmas to you. Mr. Fingerguns, good morning to you. Bad football, great basketball. Yeah, there was some good hoops yesterday, huh? The Knicks came back and won. The Rockets took care of their business. Yeah, no check mark for Amarion Hampton. Merry Christmas all the way from Brazil. Thank you, Anderson. Cody, you should try Pibb Zero. Now, I'm glad you said that, Victor. I'm trying to find the new Mr. Pibb. They've replaced Pibb Extra, and they've brought back Mr. Pibb. If you see Mr. Pibb in the stores, email me, text me, call me, send me a Twitter message, write in the comment section on YouTube. I'm trying to find Mr. Pibb Zero. And if I find it, it will absolutely be a review here on the channel. But Mr. Pibb Zero, I loved Mr. Pibb back in the day. They changed it to Pibb Extra. It was fine. It wasn't quite the same. But having Mr. Pibb back, I'm very excited to try it. If you see it, let me know, because I would like to try it, and I'll probably buy a lot of it if I can find it. Cody, have you ever considered how you can relate a check mark to points to generate an objective scoreline prediction? It's not quite it doesn't transition quite like that for me. Like, it doesn't quite, it's not quite like, how do I say this? Like, a check mark is not really worth points. It's a player to note as you kind of think about the game and the matchup. So it doesn't really equate to points. And of course, I do the score prediction every morning of the game on Houston football. So it didn't quite equate to points. It's a good idea. But I don't think that's quite where I want to take the check marks just yet. Okay. Went from questioning Petrie and coverage and questioning the contract to making a check mark on the check mark game. What a time to be alive. Yeah, Petrie's earned it. He's played his ass off this year. He's been very good. He's been very good. Any updates on Ursery? We'll talk about that here in just a second. We get to the offensive side of the check marks. D'Amico needs to call the coach and say, hey, let's get out of the game within injuries. If the Colts lose, we can let the last 2 games go, right? We need to be in the playoffs, no injuries. Yeah, but I mean, you got a chance to win the AFC South, so you got to keep playing. You need some help. It's probably not coming, and you'd like to be the 5 seed. If Buffalo slips, they got some big injuries. They're playing Philadelphia. If Buffalo slips and you get ahead of them, you beat the Chargers, you're the 5 seed. The Raiders. Everyone slept on McConkey last year. You know why? Yeah, because they saw a short white guy and thought he was only a slot guy, and he's not. He was an inside-outside guy at Georgia, and he was awesome last year. And there's some teams that if they had McConkey, they'd be a much better football team, but they drafted another wide receiver. Buffalo. And this year's playoffs are wild. They're crazy. They're crazy. Yeah, Becton's questionable. If they don't have Becton, they'll go to one of those backup guys. But I think he's going to be good because he practiced. I think he was a full participant in practice. Maybe he's limited, but I think because he practiced in the last practice, he'll be good to go. Herbert played out of his mind last year coming into the wild card game, and we saw what happened. Yeah, they're going to need to see some of that from this one. Want the win, but actually want to see Herbert have an average game, save the embarrassing performance for the playoffs. I don't know if we dominate him 3 in a row. Yeah, hopefully you won't see him in the playoffs. And if you do see him in the playoffs, it's because he's done you a favor, knocked out some teams, and you're probably playing in the AFC Championship game. Need long drives, keep the defense off the field. Jimmy, I'm glad you brought that up. The Chargers are one of the best teams in time of possession. So you cannot have short drives because the Chargers will grind you out and wear down your defense. Wear it down. So you got to be able to put something together on offense. Sal says Texans have their season to play for. Chargers have season to play for. Texans need this win more than LA. Wouldn't be surprised if they win for that reason alone. It won't be because of CJ if they win. Well, the Chargers can be the AFC West champions. They got plenty to play for too. I'd argue that it's a little bit more than the Texans because they still have a shot at the division. But they have no shot if they lose this matchup. Starting to think CJ's a flip-flopper with consistency. Yeah, we could use some more consistency from CJ. It's supposed to be a consistency week, though. It's supposed to be a consistency week. Let's talk about this offense for the Houston Texans and take a look at the checkmark game here. Now, I'm very impressed by this Chargers defense. Now, you're going to see 12 players over here for the Chargers, okay? They play a traditional 3-4 defense, and I wanted to highlight everybody that's in that 3-4 defense, but I also wanted to note that Derwin James is their nickelback and their slot cornerback, however you want to say it. He's awesome. We'll talk all about that. So Tony Jefferson's going to probably play at safety for them. The starter that they've gone to / rotates with Jefferson, he's out, so that's something to pay attention to if the old Wiley vet gets dinged up a little bit. Molden's fine at safety. He's nothing to write home about. Jesse Minter, their defensive coordinator, has actually done a really good job. So he's going to get a check mark. He's been fantastic coordinating this defense all year long, so he gets a check mark. Cam Hart was an old Cody Stoots draft crush from a couple of years ago out of Notre Dame. Big, tall, long cornerback. Hasn't played as much. They rotate cornerbacks and have played quite a few different cornerbacks. He's a decent player, but he'll give up a big play every now and then. He's rangy, but he's not fast. I would expect him physically to be matched up on Nico Collins a couple of times. Jackson, their other corner, is a pretty decent player. None of these corners or safeties are checkmark worthy outside of Derwin James. We'll get to him here in a minute. But Jackson was banged up this week. He's going to play, but his backup is out. So their depth in the secondary has taken a ding here. Okay, so their depth in the secondary is taking a little bit of a hit. So if anybody gets dinged up in the game, they're going to go deep into the situation there with their depth and their bench. Their defensive line, there's some solid guys on there. Hand is solid. Caldwell was a rookie out of Oregon. I liked a lot. He's eating space for them in the middle. Tier Tart, quick moment as a Texan, and then, out of here. But Tier Tart's a decent enough player. You can't let these guys on the interior get any pressure, or you're going to be in some trouble. You can't let them get any pressure. Because there's already a lot of pressure coming from other spots. So let's talk about Derwin James, an incredible football player, one of the best at his position. And James is checkmark worthy, absolutely. And he probably could be 2 checkmark worthy. I'm going to stop at the 1, but he probably could be 2 checkmark worthy. By the way, they carry over 5 from their offense. The Texans carry over 6 from their defense. But James he's big, he's physical, he can pick the ball off. He can come down and help in the run game. There's a lot to like about Derwin James' game. Deion Henley and Troy Dye. Dye is an old Cody Stoots crush from his Oregon days. I just feel like Dye is a really solid player, and you could trust him. Deion Henley is been a guy they've used in some coverage stuff. They moved him around a little bit. Not quite a check mark from these guys, but they're very solid linebackers in the middle. Very solid. It's not going to be easy to run against them. Now let's get to the big nasties. Okay, Khalil Mack is still very good. Khalil Mack still does what he does at a very high level. Powerful, still got enough speed to get around the edge. You think about the fact that it's going to be a shuffled up offensive line for the Houston Texans. Khalil Mack's getting a check mark. And as good as Khalil Mack's been, this guy over here, Tuli Tuipulotu. Okay, I didn't put the whole name on there. It didn't fit. Tuli Tuipulotu is a freak. Okay, let me tell you, he is an absolute monster. 13 sacks in his first 2 seasons, 13 and a half sacks so far this season. Tuli Tuipulotu is one of the best pass rushers the Texans are going to face here down the stretch. He's getting 2 check marks. 1, because he can rush from the outside and make your tackles' lives a living hell. 2, because they'll bump him inside and he successfully rushes the ball from the inside, making guards and centers' lives living hells. Tuli Tuipulotu is an awesome player. Again, a Cody Stoots crush from the draft process a couple of years ago. He has been awesome for the Chargers this year. And when you factor in Minter and Derwin James, Khalil Mack, and 2 from Tuli Tuipulotu, say that 10 times fast. The Chargers are rolling here. Another 5 to get them to 10 in the checkmark game. All right, so LA rolling in the checkmark game. Again, watch 45. He's a freak. And then Khalil Mack will be there. They've got 2 really good depth pass rushers as well. Owe from the Ravens, who they traded for him. He had 0 sacks. He's got 7 now. And then Bud Dupree's healthy. He's going to play. So they got some good depth here on this Chargers team from a pass rush standpoint. You can test the secondary a little bit. Derwin James, man, him and Petrie, this might be the best nickelback matchup in the entire season. Him and Derwin James playing off against each other. All right, the Texans carrying over 6. We know Nico Collins is getting a check mark because he's Nico freaking Collins. Is anybody else getting a check mark on offense? I can't really find one. Schultz was disappointing last week. Stroud was disappointing last week. Woody Marks didn't play last week. I'd love to tell you Woody Marks gets a check mark, but I don't know if these guys can block for him. So let's take a look at this Texans offensive line while I've got the graphic up here. I've got Ariante Ursary. I've got him up here as the left tackle. He practiced yesterday. Ursary, we're going to put a little red cross here. Ursary has an injury. Ursary has a hand injury. Aaron Wilson reported he had surgery this week on the hand. Ursary, if he plays, his hand's going to be clubbed up. How does that affect his ability to play? How does that affect what the Texans would be willing to put him out there? How painful is it? Ursary's clubbed up hand, there's a chance he plays with it. If he does, then the offensive line shuffle is not extravagant. You take Titus Howard, you bump him out to Trent Brown's spot, and you play Jarrett Patterson there at left guard. It's pretty easy to see there for the Texans from that standpoint. So you play Patterson at left guard, you bump Howard out there. If Ursary can't go, then there's a lot of chaos because then Blake Fisher has to play one of the tackle spots. Titus Howard has to play one of the tackle spots. You're still putting Patterson in there. And because Fisher's playing a tackle spot, you lose the jumbo tight end. That's an element of if Fisher has to play tackle, you probably lose jumbo tight end. The Texans love to use that jumbo tight end. By the way, this is going to be 1 to get us to 7. Okay. So this is the offensive line I'm hoping they're going to put out there. You need Ursary to play through the injury and play well enough that you can keep him out there. Patterson at left guard, that'll help the pass blocking, but he's not the best run blocker in the world. Andrews and Ingram's unchanged, and Howard back from left guard, back out to right tackle. Again, no Ursary, and you're probably looking at Fisher and Howard figuring it out however you need to figure it out at left tackle. Worth noting, Titus Howard, 200 snaps in his career at left tackle. Blake Fisher, 57 snaps at left tackle in his career. There's not a lot of good options outside of Ursary playing through the injury, and that's what they may need to have. So 10 for the Chargers, 7 for the Texans as the checkmark game has concluded. That's a good Chargers team. The Texans just haven't got the juice on offense to keep up with the checkmarks. And as Big Homie Edo says, Ursary's hand scares me. It's something to definitely monitor. Definitely monitor. Well, look at this. This is very generous and very nice, JB Allen, the Annihilator. Wow, that's nice, man. You bought hats and you're a constant contributor. So to do this, man, this is very generous. 2025 is a challenging year for me, but your content was a highlight for me in 2025. I appreciate Houston football, Cody Stoots. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Cheers to you. And this is my gift to you. I also want yours and everyone else's top 5 movies of 2025. Well, JB, I can do that for you, man. Very generous. And I really appreciate you being very as generous as you were with that. And, man, that means a lot, man. Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you for sending that along. What's my top 5 movies this year? In no particular order, though I could put them in order if you need it. I loved Weapons. I thought that was such a goofy, weird, funny kind of horror, thriller, supernatural, whatever. I loved Weapons. I thought that was very good. Sinners was excellent. Just so good. I would think my movie of the year probably. Sinners was very, very good. So I really liked that one. Oh, what else is going on that list? What else is going on that list? I enjoyed a couple movies, but I don't know that a lot of them are hitting like oh man, it's the best. It's the best movie from 2025. So but I enjoyed a lot of them, but I don't know that anybody's making the bet. I mean, for sure Weapons, and for sure Weapons, and for sure, what did I just say? Sinners. So those two for sure. Superman was good. Top movie though? Yeah, Superman was good. I don't know, man. I gotta really kind of roll through this here. I like the Naked Gun remake. It was good. Begonia was BS crazy. So that was crazy. I think Sinners, Weapons, Superman. I liked One Battle After Another. A little bit long for my taste, but it was good. And Begonia, just kind of crazy, man. It's kind of a weird, goofy, crazy movie. The tough part is, like, I'd watch Sinners again. I thought it was really good. I would probably watch Weapons again. I probably wouldn't watch any of those other ones. 2026 is our big movie here. So, JB, thank you so much, man. I think that's pretty much my close. I'll get you an official top 5. I'll Facebook it to you. It put me on the spot there, but I got to think about it a little bit. JB, thank you so much. Very generous. Okay, where are we at here? Doyle made it to Costa Rica for Christmas. Hey, Merry Christmas, Doyle. Blocking with a club definitely wouldn't be easy. I don't know about a rookie doing it. He's been good, though. He's been good. Fairbairn's ranked 2 in total best kickers, and number 3 is Dicker. Sure, but Dicker's more accurate. Okay, misses less. Ken's thinking a classic game tomorrow. Be good. Be good. Oh, don't tell me this. Mr. Pibb is only in Southern California, Vegas, a small part of Florida. The rest of the country will hit it earlier next year. Oh, come on. Don't tell me that. I'll do a draft pick grade and recap and talk about them at the end of the regular season. Where's the Trumpet Man? Yeah, the Trumpet Man was crazy. He showed up last year. He acted like he was some famous Chargers fan, but yeah. Hey, Cody, what are your thoughts on the playoffs this year? On the AFC side, I feel this is the first time I've been watching the Texans where they have a legit shot to win AFC championship. Total chaos. Total chaos in the AFC. Everybody's got a chance. Everybody that makes the playoffs, except the Steelers, has a chance to win the Super Bowl and win the AFC. Absolutely. Total chaos in the AFC. Never been a crazier year for the AFC. Rich Boy asks, is Kaylee worth a negative check mark? No. Patrick's going to the game and only spent $50 on standing room tickets. Good to see you, Brandon. Woody himself is a check mark, but the line could be a negative check mark. Yeah, I just don't know. I'm not ready to give Woody a check mark yet. I mean, hopefully I look foolish. He comes back and plays awesome. Ursery should take the week off. I'm thinking it's difficult for him to block Mac practically one-handed. Let's see how far they want to go to avoid putting Blake Fisher on the field. Let's see. The O-line's probably going from bend to break this week. I mean, I tell you what, it's a tough Chargers defense this week. Tough. Young Costa says, go see Marty Supreme. I got a hunch that's going to make my top movies of 2025, and I'm going to see that before. I'll get you a top 5 before the end of the year, though, JB. I think Marty Supreme's going to be in it, though. I love table tennis / ping pong, whatever you want to call it. And Chalamet's on a heater right now. Again, thank you, JB. Weapons, Companion, One Battle After Another, Friendship, and Sinners. Yeah, those are good ones. I liked oh God, what's the one where the funny one? Splitsville, I think that's what it was called. Splitsville. I think that's what it was. I liked Splitsville a lot. It was a good one this year. I weirdly want to see that Adam Sandler serious role with Clooney too. I probably won't watch that one in theaters. Man, if the trailer seemed interesting, give it a crack. It's a slow burn and it's weird, and there's a lot of just like, hey, we're gonna let Jesse Plemons be crazy, and give it a crack there. Him was terrible. One of the worst movies of the year. Oh, F1 definitely in my top 5. I loved F1. Yeah, good. Yeah, duh. I'll get you the official 5. Is a one-handed Tay better than a healthy Blake Fisher? I think we're going to find out. There's a chance we're going to find that out tomorrow. So it's going to, I mean, the extent that they'll go maybe to not play Blake Fisher is pretty intriguing. But of course, if Ursary feels okay and he's going to give it a go, then I mean, I think he's better than Blake Fisher, even with the hobbled hand. Mustard Paper, how is it covering H-Town football in the Lovie Smith and David Culley area? Well, Culley was just a string of comedy, you know. Lots of hilariousness, and that was a COVID season. It was kind of weird. And just a string of silliness there. Lovie Smith, you could tell he wasn't supposed to be the coach, and it was just I like covering the team, so good, bad, whatever. I'm going to cover them, and I enjoy covering them, and there's stuff to learn, and it just creates a good reference point, data point for your history of where they've been and how they got there and so on. It was really a lot of assessment of Caserio. Guys he signed, how he spent money, trades he didn't make. It was a lot of Caserio assessment more than it was Lovie Smith or David Culley or guys that were on the roster. Why'd you take this job? Well, there's only 32 of them. If I'm not feeling it, we're not doing it was a good one. So that's intriguing. That's intriguing. There's some funny David Culley quotes. Saw a report, Ursary's ruled out, bad report. And where'd you see it, Gavin? I mean, the injury report has him listed as questionable. Has him listed as questionable after a limited practice on Thursday. Aaron Wilson's reporting he had surgery this week, so I guess he's going to try to give it a go. But I haven't seen him officially ruled out. Not at all. So I would say, the Texans, if they don't take him, they'll update that. If they don't take him on the trip, they'll update that. But yeah, I haven't seen that. That's why I knew Culley was a terrible hire. Also, the stat where Culley was a wide receiver coach, his wide receiver unit had 0 touchdowns for an entire season. Yeah, David Culley, very nice human being. Should not have been a head coach in the National Football League. It was hard being a Texans fan at that time. Yeah, not to mention, they had the Deshaun Watson thing they had to go through. Again, it was just a lot of Caserio stuff in that time frame. A lot of Caserio stuff in that time frame. It felt like they were just, getting smashed into the turf every week. Speaking of turf, Texans Turf is the way that you can upgrade your yard. Did you know installing turf actually raises the value of your home and it gets you your Saturdays and Sunday mornings back? No more going out there and tending to a yard that never actually appreciates you tending to it. Not when you put Texans Turf out there. Texans Turf, Dan, the man that runs Texans Turf, can take care of you. Small jobs, big jobs, play areas, putting greens, so much more. Texans Turf in your backyard, in your front yard, in that little strip of yard between you and your neighbor that neither one of you actually want to take care of, at your business, if you have a rental property, so you don't have to worry about the yard looking bad and nasty and all that kind of stuff and people tracking in mud and gunk and all that. Always clean, always green, and no job is too big or too small for Dan the man over there at Texans Turf. When you reach out to Texans Turf, tell them Cody Stoots, Landry Locker, SNL sent you by. And, of course, TexansTurf.com. You can see that great work they've done, and you can schedule that free estimate with our friends at Texans Turf. Just appreciate everybody for supporting the sponsors this year. Terrible time to be a fan, but at least we had a franchise quarterback for a minute, and then they had to get rid of him, and now they've got another franchise quarterback maybe. So, still trying to find out about that. Looked like a franchise QB in 2023, and then it all just kind of fell apart. So, oh, man. What do you say, chat? Does the chat want a super early mock draft? Is it bad mojo to do a mock draft? Do you even want a mock draft? Do you even want to talk about a mock draft? Does the chat want a mock draft? So I'm a man of the people. If the chat wants a mock draft, I'll give them a mock draft. So I'll let you guys. Oh, Pat says rip a pack. Okay, I can do a pack rip. Mr. Save Your Life says yes. Say Boogie says no mock draft. Okay. Ooh, 7-Eleven for the Mr. Pibb. Okay, I'll check it out. Your mock drafts from 8 weeks ago might have been good luck. Bad mojo. Let's talk about the scenarios that give us home field and a divisional. Okay, I'm sorry. You got outruled here, Himothy. No mock draft this week. No mock draft. We'll do a pack, and then we'll do the playoff scenarios, and then we'll do a pack. So let's quickly talk about the playoff scenarios, the standings that we have here in the AFC. There are only 9 teams alive for a playoff spot. They don't want the bad mojo on a mock draft. I get it. Let's take a look here at the standings here in the AFC. Let's talk about how the Texans end up with some home games. All right, so the Texans sitting at 7 in the playoff rankings. If they defeat the Los Angeles Chargers tomorrow, they will jump up to 5. They have the tiebreaker over Buffalo. They'll jump. Well, Buffalo have a better win percentage, but you get my drift. If the Texans end up with the same record as Buffalo and LA, they will have the tiebreaker over both of those teams. Buffalo plays the Philadelphia Eagles this week. If Buffalo loses and the Texans win, the Texans will be the 5 seed, and they would need just a victory to secure the 5 seed and make sure that they are playing the Pittsburgh Steelers and or the Baltimore Ravens. Can't play or the Baltimore Ravens in that 4-5 matchup. The Steelers are my preference for the first round matchup. I believe the Texans would dominate them. Okay. So you really want to get to the 5. To do that, you got to beat the Chargers and you need the Bills to lose. Okay. You need the Bills to lose. Now, why would the Eagles be playing hard? Well, they can catch the Chicago Bears and get that 2 seed. Make sure almost everything runs through Philadelphia. Okay. They need to make sure that they give themselves an opportunity to catch the Chicago Bears. Okay. So the Eagles still playing hard. Bills a little banged up. So the Bills lose, the Chargers lose, Texans win, they're the 5 seed. And then you have week 17 where if you win, you're the 5 seed. You need a Jacksonville loss to get to the divisional round. To get to the division. So Jacksonville's got the Colts, Jacksonville's got the Titans. Neither one's set to beat them. Okay? Neither one's set to beat them. Jacksonville's got the Colts, Jacksonville's got the Titans. If the Jaguars win out, they'll be the 3 seed at least. And you will not win the division. So beat the Chargers, beat the Colts next week, need a Buffalo loss and a Jacksonville loss. Buffalo loss gets you at least the 5 seed. Jacksonville loss gets you the 3 seed and the AFC South. So there's your setup there for the playoffs. It's a good point. You don't need to be doing mock drafts while there's still a chance that they're winning the Super Bowl. We'll do plenty of mock drafts if they got the, 32nd overall pick in the first round. Let me go get some packs. We'll do a couple pack rips here. Don't leave. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. I will be right back. Here we go. All right, we're going to rip Two 2024 Score football trading cards packs. Herbert is on the front. Okay? Herbert's on the front. And if we use the cards like tarot cards, let's see what the cards speak to us here. Now let's get a couple packs ripped up here. 22 cards per pack. I do love big, thick packs where you get lots of cards. And this is the retro version, so the throwback Score version of these cards. Mike says, need a pack song, like the mail time song. It's not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. All right, let's see what we got here. Let's see if the cards can speak to us here. Chad Johnson. I thought they would go with the Ocho Cinco. Isaiah Likely. Why can't I get the camera to focus? Hey, camera, focus in here. Deron Bland, a Jim Kelly. Let's see what we got here. A Jeff Saturday. Ugh. Ramondre Stevenson. Bo. Look how nice that Bo Jackson card is. That's a sweet Bo Jackson card. Hey, how about a Nico Collins here? All right. How about a big Nico weekend? All right. So there's some good trading cards as tarot cards. Luck. Alex Highsmith. Phil Simms. Ooh, little throwback here. Curtis Samuel. John Lynch. Man, they got a lot of throwback cards in here. 2024 rookie Jeremiah Trotter. Hey, this is Eagles. This is good mojo for the Eagles. Jaden Daniels. No mojo here. Nice little Jaden Daniels rookie card. Roman Wilson for the Steelers. I thought he was going to be awesome. He turned out to not be awesome. Jaheim Bell. I don't think anybody's ever heard of him. I haven't. Edrin Cooper, the Aggie, who is now on the Green Bay Packers. Dre Greenlaw on the green. I like that. That's a nice card. Myles Garrett celebration card. A Mike Evans League Leaders card. Ooh, another Eagles. Good sign here. Potential from Cooper DeJean. I love this card. I love the potential cards. DeJean is awesome. So good Eagles mojo. Oh, and look at this. Justin Herbert getting sacked by Max Crosby. So there's some more good mojo. There's some more good mojo in the pack. If we use trading cards as tarot cards, we've gotten some good stuff here. You need an Eagles victory against the Bills. You need to take down Justin Herbert. Let's open another one. Why not? I love these 2024 score packs because I like a lot of the rookies in 2024 that some people don't collect. And obviously you got the quarterback. So there's potential big hits and stuff. Micah Hyde, Buffalo Bills. Okay. Elway. Look at this Elway card. Has anybody watched the Elway documentary? It's a nice one. Cole Kmet. Kyler Murray. A little Bradley Chubb action for you. Flipper Anderson. Throwback. Look at that. The old school right there. Mike Williams when he was on the Jets. That card is awful. Karlaftis. Marshall Faulk. A little Brock Purdy action there. Breece Hall on the Jets. Hey, how about a Danico Autry? Okay, how about Danico Autry gets home, getting a little bit of boost from the from the interior. Josh Newton hadn't played very well for the Terrion Arnold. He's been a little disappointing there for the Lions. Mekhi Wingo, also a Lion, a little disappointing. Amarius Mims for the Bengals. Eric All for the Bengals. Jacoby Myers in his Raiders uniform on the green. Is that bad? That's kind of a bad sign. You need the dang old Jaguars to lose, but that's our only bad sign. League leaders Raheem Mostert. Potential Marvin Harrison Jr. Travis Kelce celebration card. Ugh. And a little nice little 2024 rookie Jaden Daniels. All right, so let's go through the cards, the tarot cards here for the weekend. The sports cards as tarot cards. Jacoby Myers in the green outline. Maybe the Jaguars get the win. That would be unfortunate. But how about a Danico Autry? That'd be a good sign. Autry gets to the quarterback. Justin Herbert getting sacked. This one's a Max Crosby sack attack. You need the Eagles to beat the Bills. Cooper DeJean in the potential. And, of course, we pulled a fantastic-looking Nico Collins. So, Nico Collins maybe going to have a big game for the Houston Texans. Trading cards as tarot cards. Something you'll get nowhere else. Tarot sports cards. So, JB notes, how about a blocked field goal for the most accurate kicker of all time? Yeah, I like that. All right, so trading cards as tarot cards. I think we have unlocked something here, folks, and I think we're going to have to do it each and every week. Each and every week. So that'll do it for the show today. We'll have SNL this afternoon here for you. So check that out. 4 o'clock coming your way. So that'll be good. Thank you again, everybody, for the super chats, the likes, the subscribes. You are very generous with your time. Obviously generous with your money. I greatly appreciate that. We just try to have as much fun here talking about the Texans, covering the Texans, and talking about them in season, out of season all year long. And I hope everybody had a fantastic holiday season, a Merry Christmas. However you celebrate, whatever you celebrate, I hope it was awesome, and I hope you have high expectations for 2026, because I certainly do. I have high expectations for me. I have high expectations for Houston football, SNL, the locker room. We're going to have a blast in 2026. We're going to finish 2025 strong as hell, and we're going to have a blast in 2026. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. So thank you, everybody. We're having a blast. We're going to keep having a blast, keep having some fun here. And it's going to be a really good finish to the season and a really good year. So everybody have a safe and happy weekend. We'll have some more stuff here on the channel, of course, on SNL as well. So be on the lookout for all of that. We end the live streams the same way each and every time. It's my hope for you. It's my charge for you as well. I want you to eat good. I want you to sleep good. I want you to be good. We'll talk Texans again soon. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hip-hoppity, dip-doppity-doo.